Brodes Media.
The Flyers select 2 players on draft night. We didn't know what would happen. Would they try and move up for Michkov? If they did, does that mean they have to trade Travis Sanheim, bring back a contract that the other team they're working with wants to get rid of, and that's how you acquire one of their first-round picks? Just saying maybe St. Louis, Torrey Krug, we don't want you here anymore. Please waive your no-trade clause. Nope, not going to happen. Okay, we'll take a 6th for Kevin Hayes then. Oh, we still have a lot more to talk about than just acquiring Michkov, which Michkov is insane. You didn't have to move at all. They thought they would have to. Or maybe the Washington Capitals would sneak on by, move up with Montreal, or move up at 6 after Montreal doesn't take them, and think you got another Russian to change the life of your city. That's what Washington possibly would have done, but instead, Michkov is right into your lap, and you take him home. And here we go. We have a potential game changer. For everyone saying the Flyers need someone that could be the face that makes you want to go to the Wells Fargo Center. All the experts claim that in any other draft year that didn't have Connor Bedard, who's Connor McDavid 2.0, nobody and their mother could pass on a talent this wow. So when Connor Bedard isn't in your draft class, Michkov could be the number 1 overall pick. Bedard's in his own different universe. He's in a different galaxy. But when it comes back to reality, it's Michkov is at the top of the reality. And you were able to take a big shot on it and take a huge swing because you have the luxury of time. If your organization is in a different spot and this kid is signed in the KHL for a couple of years, and we also have to deal with reality of the world, there's a lot happening in Russia right now. We're also dealing with this with Fedotov. We see it firsthand. We can't be naive. There is a risk, but the upside in talent is so large that Danny Briere puts his testicles on the table and says, I'm not afraid. We know what he can be. We feel very highly about his ceiling. I'm not letting that walk out the door. There's a lot of non-hockey fans that sometimes during the draft, fans in this city say, can I have the NBA equivalent? Or can I have a comparison in the NFL world? And I saw a ton of different reactions, and someone said, imagine if Jalen Carter fell to you, just like we saw with Howie Roseman. And sometimes it's right there. You can't pass on. I'm sorry, but there's just nothing you can do. If you liked Ryan Leonard, which I did, and I thought maybe you can select him because Michkov would have went before it was your time, there's awesome names there. But it's not Michkov, okay? And I would sit here and say, well, he's good in this area, he's good in this area, like we normally do with some of these prospects. No, he's good everywhere. He can do everything. He's exactly what we've been screaming about. I'll give you the elite prospects draft guide, though. All right? The rare triple threat winger, Michkov, is a constant threat to find the back of the net. His puck skills are near the top of the draft owing to immense creativity, hip pocket handling, dexterous hands, and never say die attitude. You may think that you have him, but most of the time, you really don't. His ability to problem solve his way out of defensive pressure is at a level all its own. And Michkov creates plays on the ice that we can't even fathom with the benefit of a bird's eye view. Here's some more quotes about him. Michkov brings offensive tools you could want, every offensive tool you could want to the table, a wicked wrister, elusiveness, and vision. Becomes quicker around the net. He can make quick turns down low, then drive the net and display his quick hands in traffic. They wanted a defenseman in this draft. Keith Jones made it very clear that we are building from the blue line out, and I have no problem whatsoever with thinking that way. Ultimately, that leads to success. You know Pietrangelo? Ever hear of him? Big time in St. Louis, Stanley Cup. Big time in Vegas, Stanley Cup. You want to talk about those Chicago teams? While they were packaged together up front with Jonathan Toews, Patrick Kane, did they not have your pure decor? And top guys, you really do need someone extremely valuable at the top of that D pairing, on the top of that first D pair. Did they find that at 22? I don't know. I don't know if that's Cam York's ceiling, and I'd be lying to you if I told you that's Oliver Bonk's ceiling. He does have some impressive numbers in the OHL, playing for the London Knights, 67 games played, 40 points. My only concern is, why do I have PTSD from Cole Caulfield and Cam York? Not that Cam York's a bad player, not that I'm excited to watch him grow, but Cole Caulfield's goal-scoring ability didn't register in human life. It was alien form. What he was doing was alien. But let's go Cam York. Perreault, for the National Development Program, having 77 goals in 93 games, playing with very impressive players too, but being a piece to that pie, they were looking for something specific. And I wonder, did they leave anything because they were so hyper-focused on the area? A prototypical shutdown defenseman. Bonk safeguards his team by backtracking ahead of offensive turnovers, block access to the defensive zone, forces opponents to dump the puck around him, and then seals the puck from them on the back wall. He pushes attackers wide in the defensive zone and scans the ice behind him to stop backdoor plays. So basically just a steady Eddie. The guy who does things that are not sexy. The guy that makes the plays that don't necessarily show up on the box score. For example, let's say you hold a great gap and then you force the team to dump the puck at the red line. You go back, you scoop the puck up behind the net, you make a good outlet pass, the puck moves 3 times and then finds the back door. You don't get a point for it, but it really all generated from your gap control when the opposing team was breaking out initially, and then you put some time and space, you close your gap. Now the puck's behind your goal line, and you generated that whole entire sequence. No fan, when they're celebrating at the Wells Fargo Center, throwing their hands up and maybe having a rally towel, goes, you know what was fucking awesome about that goal? Not the tic-tac-toe, not the zone entry, net drive, high guy, and then a nice, one-timer with your knee down. Michkov finds the twine and celebrates by jumping in the glass. You know what was cool? That gap control. Did you see his foot speed skating backwards? Did you see his first cut? Did you see his transition game? Come on, those first 3 backward strides. No one emphasizes that. You go, where's Simone Gagne? I need 40 goals, right? You go, yo, fellas, where's Danny B on the power play? That's what Oliver Bonk can show for you. So I don't hate it. I'm just worried. And maybe I shouldn't be, because Danny Briere has been impressive.